Yeah, so welcome back. We're going to be looking at the yama called Saucha, Saucha. We've been doing this immersion with the yamas and the niyamas since January. And so this is another installation in that library of practices. And the word Saucha means cleanliness, or tending to the physicality of cleanliness, like having a clean space to practice in, or having a clean diet, or having a clean place for study or for living. And it can also, I like to consider it as well, that it could mean a kind of cleanliness of our intentions, our intention, our action, our motivation, a cleanliness in that regard too. And I'm going to let that kind of hang there in the air for right now. What does it mean to have a cleanliness of intention or motivation? Sometimes we don't know that we aren't clear or having a clean motivation or a clean intention until in the aftermath, we look back on something and realize that we were a little bit off. So what might it mean to have that clarity or cleanliness of intention, thought, and motivation before the action or before the task? Something like that, okay? So please take a comfortable seat. Find your place. And rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. Imagine the center line of the body right now as if it were a pendulum. And whatever you've been doing, wherever your energy has been swinging, imagine that pendulum coming into center. So you're coming into the stillness of your plumb line. Having a sense that all on its own, the practice is going to be helpful for this saucha or this cleanliness. When your pendulum is coming to stillness, see if you might surrender any sense of what you have to kind of get out of the practice and rest into what may occur during the practice. We begin in a way with a commitment, abhyasa, and also a surrender, vairagya. We don't know what's going to happen during the practice. But can we have a sense of faith? The word for that is shraddha. Faith based on memory, smriti. All of our prior practices have been helpful in some way, and they've been a part of how we show up today. Can we practice without attachment to the outcome? Trusting that in the practice, we will come to understand Saucha. Please raise your hands to your heart. We'll chant Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu together. Let's begin. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Saviryam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidveshavai, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavaye Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidveshavaya Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavaye Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidveshavaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. So you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Open your eyes. So our inquiry is, what is it really to have a clean or clear motivation, a clean or clear intention? And how will we know? I had said earlier, you might only know that it wasn't that clean in hindsight when you don't get the outcome that you wanted. So this is why we practice abhyasa and vairagya, to have a kind of commitment or a dedication to the yoga, this whole yoga, and then not to have attachment to how it's going to turn out. It's a fine balance. It's a delicate thing, especially when we have more of a Western mind, because we're taught to be goal-oriented or outcome-oriented. I was listening this morning to a climate discussion while I was practicing my own yoga. And one of the teachers in this climate discussion was quoting Gandhi as one of his role models. And he was saying how he's very inspired by how Gandhi had said, this person is not a yoga student to the best of my knowledge. So he said, one of Gandhi's teachings was, do what is yours to do, act prudently on what the task is without attachment to the outcome. And I am quite sure that Gandhi was quoting the Gita and also his own knowledge and wisdom as well. So this climate speaker was saying that in the face of all that we're looking at here, in the face of all the unknowns, can we still keep showing up and doing the things that is ours to do? And can we have a clean and clear motivation? So sometimes the opposite of that clean or clear motivation is something like you feel a little bit mischievous or manipulative, or you deep down really have a longing for something to happen and you're being, like, let's say, stealthy or even spiritual about doing it, but that mischief is getting in there. And at other times, we don't realize that we've gotten caught up in projection or making an attribution about somebody or having a story about them. And so we don't realize that we're not clean in relationship to somebody else. We haven't asked them more directly, perhaps, for what we're making an attribution about. Do we need more information? Or we've had something get aroused in our own psyche, and some other people near enough by and close enough to our hearts are conveniently there for us to project onto. I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying that it happens. So those are kind of examples of when it's not so clean, when what we're doing is not so clean. So let's do the practice Saucha with the body and then see what comes, because sometimes the Annamaya Kosha, as we're doing the cleansing here, and the Pranamaya Kosha, you just arrive in the Manomaya Kosha and there is something that you really deeply know. So setting all the conversation aside, if you're still in your comfortable seat, go ahead and stay as you are, or arrange it so you are more comfortable. Raise up through the crown of your skull. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. And we'll do a round of Bhastrika. Just warming it up so it's a strong exhale, exhale, exhale through the mouth using the diaphragm. Exhale. Deeply relax. Round number 2, we're going to add retention. It'll be exhale completely, then inhale suspension. And we're going to go a little more briskly. Let's begin. Exhale. Inhale through the nose, up to suspension. And exhale thoughtfully and thoroughly at your own pace. Make no particular effort to breathe now. Now, kappalabhati, we'll start with both nostrils. Let's begin. Exhale completely. Inhale to suspension. Exhale slowly and completely. And again, make no particular effort to breathe. Allow your body just to take care of itself for the next several moments. We're going to practice kappalabhati more as a kriya for cleansing. So you're going to do left nostril and then the right, and we'll go back and forth. But we're going to do 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10, and then 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, like that down to alternating. By the time we get to alternating, you'll probably be about complete. And so then you'll exhale through both nostrils and we'll inhale to suspension. So bring the first two fingers into the center of the palm. There is an importance to this hand position. And for those of you who want to refine your pranayama practice or really understand if you're doing it appropriately or properly, because I can't hear you on Zoom. I can't see you so directly, intimately. If you want that experience of personalized support, please check out the yoga therapy clinic coming up on pranayama. I think it's on April 4th or 11th. It's either the 4th or the 11th because the other one is meditation. So this coming Monday, it's going to be on Headstand. So placing the hand like this, close the right nostril with your right thumb, and we'll go 30 left, and then 30 right, and then 20 left and right, and then 10, and then 9, 8, 7 like that. Switch. 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 Now 9, 8, 7. Exhale completely. And now inhale through both nostrils up to suspension. Exhale completely in your own timing. I'd like to focus on 2 more cleansing pranayamas right now, so you can be introduced to them and you can sense the effect of each one. And then we'll do 2 balancing pranayamas, so you can also feel what that is like. So for these next 2, please come to kneeling. Of course, if you need to kneel while sitting up on a blanket, that's fine too. I put my blankets over my toes because it keeps a little warmer. Okay, so this is lion's breath. What we're going to be doing is you make 2 fists, you put your paws like this. Those are your lion paws. You'll inhale through the nose, The exhale, we're going to open the mouth wide and stick the tongue out as far as it goes while looking up behind the eyebrows and making a hissing sound. So it's lion's breath. You're scaring something away. You're also cleansing the tongue and the throat. Okay, so we go like this with the inhale. And open the claws and exhale. Inhale. One more. Well, rest your hands in your lap and you can smile at yourself. See what the effect is from lion's breath. Now we'll practice Korma Mudra. So sometimes people refer to Kormasana. There's a pose called Kormasana. It means the turtle pose. This is named after turtles because we're going to be taking our senses inward. You'll place two fists like this in the crease of the inner thigh and the belly. And when we exhale, we come forward. You're going to want your head to rest on something. That could be the floor. It could be a block, could be a blanket. You definitely want your head supported because when you're down there, you're not going to be breathing. So we're going to inhale while we're up, or when we're returning to being up. We're going to exhale slowly down, squeezing the fists in the belly, supporting the exhale to be more thorough. And at the end of the exhale, you're going to keep the exhale out. You're not going to inhale. It's called exhale suspension. And while that suspension is happening, I'm going to encourage you to deeply relax the belly so that you're not tensing to hold the breath out. You're actually relaxing to do that. And then you'll inhale to come back up. So let's do it together for the first one. And exhale, come forward. Rise up with your inhale at your own timing. And then you can either have a little pause or you can continue from there for the next one. And complete with your next repetition, your next round, and then rest the hands again in your lap and just see what is happening. These are cleansing pranayamas, and I was saying, we can go more deeply into the specificity for you when we gather for the yoga therapy clinic. We're going to do 2 balancing pranayamas right now, and I hope that you'll be able to feel the influence, the difference between them. It's good fortune for us that we're doing Saucha right here as spring is coming, because for some of you, this cleansing is really important to be prepared for spring. Otherwise, the kapha dosha can become kind of stagnant. So these particular pranayamas you were doing are going to stoke the fire, the digestive fire. They're also cleansing the nadis. When we do this back and forth with the nose, we're cleansing nadi shodhana. And the fists and the low belly have a specific purpose also for your vayus, as well as the ability to learn how to do exhale suspension comfortably. So now we'll do 2 balancing pranayamas. One is nadi shodhana with a long inhale, long exhale. Let's balance them. So you can lightly count the length of your inhale and lightly count the length of your exhale to have them be balanced. Okay, so fingers in like this. And then let's start. Please close the right nostril gently at your own timing. Inhale left, then you'll exhale right, and then you're going to go backwards. And the inhale goes up to the 6th chakra. That's when you change the nostrils to exhale down from there. So you're really focusing this breath up and down to the 6th chakra. Complete with your next exhale on the left side. right hand when you complete, and then just notice what is happening. A boost for the immune system now. We're going to do Bromery Breath. Pardon me. So you'll place your index fingers over the eyebrows. The next two fingers can close the eyes. The pinkies are free agents. They do what they want. And your thumbs are going to close the ears. So we'll inhale through the nose and then exhale, making the M sound with the lips inside the teeth so that the throat is more open inside. So breathe in through the nose when you're ready. Release when you feel complete. The possibility that pranayama helps you to pierce the annamaya kosha, the pranamaya kosha, to touch the manomaya kosha, where you may sense a more clear or clean mind. And it also helps then to pierce through that to the vijnanamaya kosha, a deep inner knowing. And then to anandamaya kosha, this inner sense of home. This quality of mind, we practice asana. So raise your knees up to center. So one of the cool things about practicing asana from here is that you're less likely to be aggressive or striving unnecessarily or making chaotic effort. You're also less likely to be dull or daydreaming. So stretch your left leg out straight. This morning I had the honor, as I do on Saturday mornings, the honor of being with my teacher from Mysore. We are on video and it's a special community. It's a closed community actually. And this morning he was talking about how since we as humans have the capacity to experience the trance, that spell of yoga, we need to dedicate ourselves to it and not have the other kind of trance. So this trance state that pranayama can bring you to, please bring that into asana with you. Bring the right knee up, wrap your left hand around your right knee. I'm going to put a block behind me because it makes the floor easier to reach. And then please come into Marichyasana. Good morning, Nakula. Hello again. Yes, hi. As you twist to your right, go ahead and look over your right shoulder. You're welcome to close your eyes, and you can pick up the practice from a couple weeks ago where we started using the eyes also in the practice, especially looking at the gaze from within, eyes closed. So as you exhale, take your eyes further to the right than your nose or your twist are going. When you inhale, invite your gaze to relax to center. And then exhale, glide your eyes to the right again. Inhale, relax your gaze. Exhale, gaze right. Eyes closed. Once more. Rotate around to face forward. Now, Bindi, when you first came in here, I thought you were a bird. You sounded like a little bird, not a cat. Did you eat a bird? Have you swallowed a bird? I don't think so, because you can't get out where the birds are. Now let's do the other side, please. Take your right hand across your left knee. Twist to your left. Your exhale, rotate your eyes further from the inside. With the inhale, allow your gaze to relax. One more time, please. And then rotate around to face forward. So in this kind of twisting, I'm going to ask us now to come to Uttanasana for a few moments. So lift your hips and come into, this is called Uttanasana, which means intense west side stretch. The west side is the back side of your body. The front side is the east side because you face to the east when you're doing the sun salutation. So allow your body to stretch through here. Notice the quality of the breath and the quality of your mind. What mental state have you been able to bring with you into asana? Raise your hands to your hips, please, and rise up to standing. And then when you're up to standing, notice how your circulation is going to kind of rebalance itself from north to south. So north is the upper hemisphere of the body, south is the lower hemisphere of the body. Now I'd like you to step your heels onto a blanket or two. Put the feet together and then come down to squat in Malasana. So the knees go to the outsides of the arms. I know my yoga tights here are about the same color as the doors behind me, so hopefully you can see that well enough. Go ahead and come down in this squat. You can place the hands on the floor in front of you. To the best of your ability, you're trying to snuggle the knees into the outsides of the armpits. And then the arms can press back against the shins. As you lower your hips back and down, this is intended to both stretch the inner groin and the pelvis, but also to open what we call apanavayu, which is a part of our cleansing in the physical body. Apanavayu is necessary. It's for the purpose of elimination, that which we're letting go of. This pose is called Malasana. And for anybody who would like to wrap their arms around the front of the shins and then around the small of the back and then interlace your fingers, you're welcome to do that. I can't show you that, but you're welcome to do it. And now I'm going to ask you to release. If your hands are clasped behind your back, go ahead and release. And let's all come to this version of squatting where you're going to have the knees and the thighs together. So they're up against the chest like this. This is also a way that we work on temporarily compressing circulation to certain parts of the body. And then we're going to be able to open that circulation. Now take your left arm across. And you can put your hand on the floor, or if the floor is a little far away, you could use a block if you like, whichever you prefer, combination of both. And then rotate your belly across your lap to the right, rotate the inner belly, make space for your body parts. All of them are important and sacred. Wrap the right arm around behind the small of your back. And you could put your right fingers over the top of your left thigh. You could squeeze it in there. Take a deep breath in, gaze over your right shoulder. And then exhale, a little more twist to your right. Turning the belly. And then we're going to release that one, come back to center. I hope you didn't have chocolate cake or waffles before class today. I hope you're having that after class if you want to. You have permission to make a yogic choice about your diet, however. So, okay, let's take the right arm over and place your fingers on the floor or on the block. And then wrap your left arm around behind. And you might find that you could put the fingers of your left hand into the crease of your right thigh where it meets your abdomen. So on purpose, the ankles have a little compression right now. The knees are having compression in terms of circulation. The hips are also having that. We're keeping the knees together. We're trying to churn the belly, the inner aspect of the belly. And then exhale, come around to face forward. Okay, reach the arms forward. And then see if you can rise up from here. Press into your heels, raise up. And then step into mountain pose. Relax the arms. Notice the circulation going again, back down to the southern hemisphere of the body. A wide stance. I guess Bindi had somewhere important to go all of a sudden. Come down to Prasara Tapatanasana, please. And in this Prasara Tapatanasana, place your hands between your feet. So it's going to be foot, hand, hand, foot. Now, as you release the torso down, energize your legs so there's a firm sense of grounding or rooting in your feet and your legs. And just over the last few asana, if the trance from pranayama got kind of dissipated, see if you can relocate that inner feeling. Maybe it was a feeling of tranquility or stillness. Please raise your hands to your hips and rise up to standing. You did your chores, Bindi, and you came back? Rise up to stand, and please turn your right foot out to the right and pick up the left heel and take it slightly to the left under your kitten. Just put it right under the kitten. Is that okay with you? Yeah. Okay, sweep the arms wide. And please come to Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze out over your right fingertips without forgetting the left arm. So you have a sense that both arms are important. Reach equally through your left arm, left leg, right thigh, right arm. Inhale, raise up to center. And exhale, rotate to the other side. Keeping the mind smooth and tranquil. Inhale, sweep your arms wide. And exhale to your left, Warrior Two. For the mind to come from that place that you touched into in pranayama, so that your practice here also includes that and is nourished or deepened by that. Now, rise up to center. Make the feet parallel, please. And let's go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe in. Please step into mountain pose, leaving space for your young students. Now, taking that quality, I hope, of some tranquility or steadiness in your own experience, we're going to step to Surya Namaskar, and I'm going to include several ways that we use Surya Namaskar as a cleansing practice. And specifically when I'm saying cleansing this morning, I'm talking about when we can add compression to the body. So you're even going to hear me say to put the fists under the belly when you're on the floor. So your fist is going to be right inside the inner belly like that. So come to mountain pose, please. Face to the east if you have that opportunity. Using the Ujjayi breath to keep the mind tranquil and more internal. We're going to inhale, sweep the hands down. As you raise up, please tippy toe. Look up if you can. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, raise your heels in chair pose. Exhale, come down to squat. The hips go low, the heels stay high. Raise the knees up towards your chest. And then inhale, Uttanasana with the heels lifted. And exhale, lower your heels down. Exhale completely. You might put your forearms behind your shins. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. Exhale, left toes back, excuse me. Forgot that I wasn't mirroring you. Inhale, raise the arms, crescent lunge. Exhale, take the arms wide, keep the legs really stable, but also as you come down, raise your right heel, touch your left knee down. And see if you can inhale up to Anjaneyasana here. Keep the right heel lifted so your right knee is higher. It's against the torso if possible. I mean, the thigh is closer to your torso, not that your knee is touching your torso. And then exhale, and as you come down with your arms and your torso, touch your right heel to the floor. So you're going to develop some ankle flexibility right there for some of you. And go ahead and rest the torso down over your right thigh. Walk the hands forward if possible. Your right knee ends up in your right armpit. So we again have a situation where the right ankle, the right knee, the right hip, they are compressed for right now. Having some pressure of the knee on the armpit is also, it's a form of compression for the circulation down your right arm. Walk the blocks back to be on either side of your right foot. And as you inhale, straighten both legs. And then exhale, step to plank pose. Notice the temperature changing in your right leg. Inhale, reach high into downward dog pose. And exhale, left foot forward. And then inhale to rise into your crescent. And follow your exhale. Take the arms wide, keep the legs stable and strong, and on the way down, pick up your left heel and lower your right knee. And then inhale up, Anjaneyasana. Raise the left heel and the thigh goes up and the knee goes up. You're changing the shape of the pelvis between how the thigh meets the hip socket, but also you're giving a little influence to the pelvic floor. Now as you exhale, lower the left heel down, lower the arms down, and you can bow your torso over. Walk the blocks forward. Perhaps you'll place your left armpit over your left knee. That isn't everyone's body proportions, by the way. So if your armpit doesn't fit in your knee, or your knee doesn't fit in your armpit, if they don't meet each other right now, it's okay. Keeping your mind and your breath stable, let's walk the blocks back, place them on either side of your left foot. And then as you inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, step to plank pose. And notice the temperature change in your left leg. Now step over the left foot, point the toes, do the same with the right foot, and transition to the basic shape of your seal pose. And then inhale, look up and lift up. And exhale, slide forward to Cobra Pose. Inhale, rise up to Seal. Exhale, Cobra. Repeat that again. Inhale up. And exhale, Cobra. Now, put the blocks a little bit aside. Rest your forehead down. As you rest your forehead down, make the hands into two fists. Lift your hips and place your fists under the belly. So you have to place the fists between the hip bones and the pubic bone in the soft part of the belly. Don't make the fists uncomfortable with your hip bones. Then bring your head to center. And inhale, raise only your right leg behind you. It's possible that that's going to feel tender. Exhale, lower the right leg down. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, lower that one down. Now, classically speaking, this is done with the chin stretched forward. So see if you can now reach the chin forward in any way that it's relaxing for your neck. And then inhale, raise the right leg. Lower it down. Raise your left leg. Lower it down. And you can practice raising both legs. They probably won't go very far if they lift at all. And then release your hands from your belly. Turn your head to one side. You can rock the hips out. And check and see what's happening in the inner belly now. Okay, reach back to interlace your fingers, please. And as you clasp the hands, roll the shoulders up and back and rise up to Salambhasana with your inhale. And then exhale, place your hands for Cobra. Inhale, rise up to Seal Pose. You can have your hands on the floor this time. Exhale, Plank. Inhale, Downward Dog. Now be aware of where you are in your space so you don't hit something. And as you next inhale, raise your right leg up behind you. And then exhale, right foot forward. And inhale, rise up to your crescent. Exhale, descend, touch the floor, and inhale to plank pose. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg up. And exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, rise to your crescent. And exhale to descend. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward dog. And then exhale, child's pose. Touch the knees down, point the toes. Reach your hips back to your heels. Now that's a very familiar way to do child's pose. Pick up your hips just enough to cross your left ankle on top of your right.
And then reach back again to child's pose. Inhale and go forward to table pose.
Change the ankles. Exhale, reach back.
Notice your circulation. Inhale forward to table pose, uncross the ankles. Okay, now take the wrists behind the knees and roll back to child's pose. So you put the wrists, they go behind the hamstring and the calf muscles there. Give a little squeeze. And then release your hands, take them forward and come to table pose.
And exhale, reach back to child's pose and take your wrists
And place them and your fists into the belly like we did for Kormasana earlier in class. Exhale thoughtfully, completely. And then once more, walk your hands forward. Inhale, come up to table pose.
plank pose,
Downward facing dog pose. And please step forward.
1 foot, 2nd foot, Uttanasana, and rise up. Hands to the heart. Now stand in mountain pose for a few moments and see if you can sense like what is moving in the southern hemisphere of the body. What's happening with your circulation? And if you can, even sense like what's happening in the myofascial system as the skin of the body is also feeling, and that layer between skin and muscle that is supposed to be unctuous and have a glide to it. What's happening there? We finished our practice this morning. Let me just see if Nicola needs anything. You need something? You okay? All is well, actually. I see that. You're okay. There's no trouble to report. You're like my little scout out there in the wild. And your sister and your kiddos are doing okay. Yeah, all is well. Okay, we're going to do a simulation of headstand now, and I want you to feel this simulation to understand how headstand is also a cleansing pose. And when I say simulation, I mean we're not going upside down at the moment, but this is a very powerful, very helpful pose, headstand. When you can learn it and do it, it's really helpful for the lymph system, the circulatory system. Nakula? Did you need something? Oh, okay. So we want to be able to invert the body. It's sometimes we call those the fountain of youth poses when we can invert the body. So what we're going to do right now is a reclined version of this headstand. So please lie on your back, giving yourself the space you need in your room, or taking that space from others. Hello. I'd like you to have 2 blocks that you can use. Okay. You'll soon understand the pose, even though you can't see me right now. Let's place the block on the median setting like this and place it right at the crown of the skull on firm ground. Take the second block and either hold it between your hands like this so your fingers are over the far edge, or hold it
this way so your knuckles go over the far edge to your first knuckle of the finger. You're going to decide how to hold it based on when you reach overhead. You want to have a feeling that the arms could be straight and long. Now, I don't have long arms, and I don't know everybody's arm length, so that's another good reason to come to the Headstand clinic. We can help you to organize these sorts of things. But I would like you to set this up so you're reaching as far as you can, and then you're pulling the blocks towards your head to apply pressure. Bring your shoulder blades down your upper back. Close your eyes and notice what is happening now with the breath in the lowest part of the belly when you're in this position. We have this principle in yoga where we say there's a fire that is supposed to digest the food. When the food comes in and goes down to the stomach, the digestive fire should be addressing that. But sometimes we end up with these impurities. That's what they're called in yoga, this sort of residue. It's called ama in Sanskrit. And that residue might sit in the lowest part of the abdomen, mental residue, emotional residue, the residue of undigested food. And so actually, when we take ourselves upside down, it is said that the fire in the stomach is burning those impurities while we're inverted. It's an energetic sense, but you might notice that right now, arms overhead like this, the breath has an easier time reaching the pubic bone very naturally. Means that the breath is able to go really low in the abdomen. Even the exhale might feel more hollow than it would if your arms were not in this position, if there wasn't pressure on your head. We're going to release the blocks and take the arms into Cactus Pose if you can do that comfortably. And see if the mind is getting any bit more clear. And then you can stretch the legs out and please come to Shavasana. Without thinking. So in Shavasana, you can practice having the absence of thoughts. You might be hearing the sounds of kittens purring or snoring. Your body to be as restful as possible. All the cleansing janitorial services are in action right now, so don't distract them by thinking or daydreaming. that aspect of you, the deeper self that is not lost in thought, is not daydreaming, that in you which is not in the past nor in the future, but resting right here in the now. Rest in the here and now, in that in you which is not thinking nor daydreaming. You're neither reviewing the past nor planning the future. Stay at rest for one more minute. Don't let the mind wander. We're going to transition for meditation. So what I'd like you to do is wiggle the toes and the fingers and just make the small move that you need to make. You might rock your head side to side. We're going to transition up to a meditation seat. I'm going to see if I can bring my hot water bottle here with me. We'll see. Please come to your seat for meditation, whatever that's going to be. You might find that having had a cleansing practice, you need less height under your hips. On the other hand, sometimes the structural components of your body are why you're sitting at a certain height for meditation. So again, there is also a yoga therapy clinic about that coming up. Did I say that we have yoga therapy clinics on the schedule? So come to your seat, please. See, there is a sense that you've pierced through the Annamaya, the Pranamaya, the Manomaya, coming all the way through Vijnanamaya to come back home. Meditation, when we connect to the inner quiet, it has an inherently deeper capacity for being cleansing. The greater access we have to the quiet, the more we can kind of right size our thoughts in relationship to consciousness or love.
Trying to remain still and steady. You have the last period of meditation here. I'd like you to stay within your quiet tranquility or stability and let the world enter your awareness, the larger world, which will include the suffering. Specifically, if you'd like to bring into your heart what's happening in Ukraine, and that is an option. Or even a person that you might know who's suffering right now. Raise your hands to your heart. Earlier this week, I also noted that Saucha, in addition to our inner cleansing, it also means our relationship to that which we are purchasing, consuming, interacting with. All of it has an influence in us. Sometimes that influence is far beneath our conscious awareness, but it is influencing. Everyone. Namaste. Your inner wisdom is more available to you now than at the beginning of class. And I hope it brings you some clarity or direction about Saucha.